little familiar. Azul is opting for going back to the Lost Zone box with a Kyogre, but you also have a Mawile in there for some kind of matchups like this if the opponent isn't prepared for it. And Edwin is on 33 match points. Azul is on 32, so a win is guaranteed in for Edwin. Meanwhile, Azul, a win is hope and pray that the tiebreakers are enough to make it into top 8 yet again. Azul has made so many top 8s this season, and with a regional win as well.
Yeah, I think Azul probably one of the most accomplished players this season. Again, we've talked about him time and time again. When the worst you can say about him is he did top 16 at that one tournament, missing out on top 8. You know you're a good player, and as we see here, once again, trying to make his way to top 8. Looking at both these players' prizes right now, 2 Mirage Gates prize for Azul, and a couple of Psychic Energy and 1 Raw. It's not too bad here for Edwin. But I think, yeah, again, looking at Azul's prizes, a couple of key cards as well. The Pal Pad, a Counter Catcher. There are some big cards indeed. So I'm very curious to see how Azul is going to go ahead and really play around the resources he has, as we are going to start the game here, and Edwin is going to open up with the Jirachi. Again, Jirachi, very powerful card, especially against this Lost Box matchup. But even more powerful than that, the Battle VIP Pass, able to find at least 2 Pokemon. If I had to guess, maybe 2 Ralts here. Just checking what they have in the deck, making sure all the refinements are in here, all the Mirage steps should be in the deck. So Edwin does have access to that. But again, Jirachi in the active, can't quite attack. Do you think Azul goes for the quick Mawile play here?
Maybe, honestly. Looking at the list, ooh, no. There is no switch out. There's no Professor Turo's scenario. We might be in for a long one, especially if Azul has done his homework and figured out if his opponent has that out to Mawile or not.
Jeremy, are you telling me this game could be decided as soon as this next turn if we don't see a retreat? That is a scary, scary thought, Jeremy. And against Lost Box, typically you don't want to retreat into your routes too early because, again, there is that threat of something like the Cramorant. As Ultra Ball being played here, interesting, discarding the Radiant Greninja. Edwin here identifying the threat of the Mawile. But again, there's already a liability in play in that Jirachi, opting to bench the 3rd Ralt. What do you think that signifies, Jeremy?
That means we're not going to go for a Mirage Step this game. Really just hoping for the traditional Evolvinator, Curlia's refinement, get stuff set up. And energy on the active, we do see the retreat, so this is going to be very big for Edwin, especially knowing that he has no out to Mawile.
Very heads-up play here by Edwin. Again, it's the Jirachi is still sitting on the bench. He has to find something like the Collapse Stadium potentially in the next coming turns, as Battle VIP Pass played here by Azul is going to be able to find 2 cards in the deck, 2 Pokemon. And I wonder what Azul is going to be eyeing out. It looks like they're looking at maybe Comfey and then Manaphy, or oh, this is just deck check-in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Azul, no stranger to the stream, one of the best players North America has to offer. Edwin, on the other hand, he has been a consistent Day 2 competitor, but it's always been 105th place, 121st place LAIC, 75th in Toronto, 163rd in Peoria, 107th in Pittsburgh. So that's just this season. Still very consistent making these Day 2s, but this has so far been the best Day 2 finish for Edwin, still trying to make that first top 8.
This is essentially the next level here for Edwin. The first hurdle for every player is always making that Day 2, but once you can really do that consistency, next question is, when am I going to break the top 8? And this could be Edwin's chance. And this is, again, we're going back to the game. Battle VIP Pass does find 1 Comfey. Eyeing out, again, I see the Mawile. That's very, very scary. I'm trying to think now, how many bosses orders does Azul
0
play? No bosses orders, so he's going to have to wait till a knockout happens before a counter catcher plays can be played. So Edwin has more than enough time to really set up his board perfectly.
And no change of expression on Edwin's face, seeing that Mawile. Could have been a sign for Azul or not, but still going to be one of the main avenues Azul's trying to navigate through this game 1.
As we do see what else does he have. Does have the Radiant Greninja as well here. Does go for the concealed cards. Something scary is if you're not playing down liabilities like Manaphy, that means you also don't get the support of Manaphy. That means something like the
Moonlight Shuriken
Moonlight
from the
Shuriken,
Greninja can really just disrupt the entire board. You also saw one of the cards that Azul drew from that concealed cards is Echoing Horn. One of those items that we haven't really seen much lately, but is very powerful, just taking a basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard and putting it onto their bench. It's such great combination with that Mawile and its Tempting Trap.
Big, big tech indeed. As we do see the Chorus experiment, great to see on the first turn. Looking at the top 5 cards of the deck. Let's see what they decide to send to the Lost Zone. Again, with that, they are going to be 4 cards into the Lost Zone. Can attack with the Cramorant if they choose to do so.
Yeah, I think he has a Nest Ball in these 5 cards that's going to be able to allow you and grab that Cramorant if it's not already in hand. And as long as you have a switch out in hand, or even if he already retreated for the turn or not. But wow, yeah, Echoing Horn bringing up that Radiant Greninja. This is going to give Edwin access to concealed cards to help better set up, but that's just another liability on the bench that Mawile can use that Tempting Trap on that Radiant Greninja or that Jirachi.
You almost have to think, is Azul just going for the Mawile play instead there? In that case, you shouldn't attack with a Cramorant. You don't want to get ahead in prizes because Counter Catcher might be the play, as we just do see the path. Even tempting with that Pidgeot V on the bench. Typically a liability, but Azul saying, go ahead, take a couple of prize cards. I'll be ready and waiting with the Counter Catcher, as we do see the Iona. So very heads up play again by Azul, benching the Pidgeot V, meaning Forest Seal Stone potentially is a live card for him. As Iona is played, both players draw 6 big cards here.
Yeah, this is one of the differences in Azul's list compared to someone like Sawyer Melvin's list that we saw earlier on yesterday. There was a Pidgeot V, yes, but it was just used in Sawyer's list to never deck out. There's 2 copies of Forest Seal Stone for Azul here, so going to be able to really utilize that very well. And playing the Echoing Horn was also another concession against Collapse Stadium, because Edwin could have filled the bench up, Collapse Stadium away that Jirachi, then there's no more bench space for the Echoing Horn to be useful. So really utilizing it at the perfect time, getting that Radiant Greninja. And we do see a Mirage Step from Edwin, but just grabs 1 Curlia.
They have time to set up, but as much setup as you can get, all Azul is waiting is for you to take a single prize to really activate those counter catchers. We do see the concealed cards being played now. Looking at their hand, there is a counter catcher in hand at the very least. Going to Flower Select like a little bit more, just really refine the deck. Does draw into a Water Energy and a Mirage Gate. This is going to be a tough choice.
Yeah, that's awkward. You kind of want both of them, especially if you want to just pivot and go for that Moonlight Shuriken play. There's already a Water in hand, but with the Water in the discard, Azul is playing 5 Water Energies, so not going to be too detrimental here. I think you're going to be safe getting rid of that 1 Water Energy.
Especially since there are 2 Mirage Gates prized, so having that in hand is really good, as we just see another pass.
Yeah, this is going to be a very game of chicken game. Game of Blaziken, maybe. You don't want to take that first prize. Like we were saying, Counter Catcher is the only way Azul's going to be able to bring up Radiant Greninja or Jirachi. Meanwhile, Edwin never really want to plays ahead anyway. You don't have Reversal Energies active anymore. You don't have your own Counter Catchers. And we see 2 Counter Catchers in hand for Edwin. And he's just like, why aren't you taking prizes, Azul? Come on.
You ever just think, oh no, you can't even deck out Azul after saying the after seeing the Pidgeot. So Edwin just really does have to attack eventually, maybe waiting for maybe a more opportune time. Do you think he attacks this turn, Jeremy?
He potentially can. You still have that Boss's Orders in hand. You can Boss's Orders up the Mawile, take the knockout, force Azul to go digging, find a Super Rod and a Nest Ball combination to be able to get that Mawile back into play. Only playing 1 copy compared to the 2 that we've seen in a few of the other Lost Zone lists.
As we do see an Ultra Ball being played now by Edwin. Can't find any Pokemon they want from the deck. So missing something like the Gardevoir EX, potentially. No, it's going to be 1 more refinement. Curlia, evolve that benched Ralts. And we're still going to be drawing cards here. Something I do like to see in these Gardevoir decks. Great way to thin out the deck. Leave yourself with a bigger hand. Just very, very powerful. But again, I don't think that's the name of the game in this situation.
Yeah, the name of the game is Pokemon. And with the other Curlia, going to be discarding a Counter Catcher here. Again, getting that Curlia instead of the Gardevoir, we're not going to really see an attack this turn.
Unless you draw into a Gardevoir.
I still don't even think we're going to see an attack that turn. You do not want to trigger that counter catcher. And I guess Edwin might also just be afraid of a boss's orders from Azul. Again, not really having open deck lists means there's a lot of potential things that can come out of a Lost Zone box list.
Yeah, so again, it's very interesting to see how Azul really built this deck, how he decided on each of these counts where you're really depending on, you're dedicating so many spots to trapping Pokemon. Like you're dedicating a spot to the Mawile, the Echoing Horn, but not playing a boss's orders is an interesting choice, but he's made it this far, and it's probably the correct one. As we do see a Flower selecting there, getting rid of the Hisuian Heavy Ball, keeping another energy in hand. Escape Rope now being played. You don't make the mistake of bringing out, you have to bring out a purple Pokemon here. As we do see another Flower selecting.
So this is the turn where Azul finally hits 7 in the Lost Zone. That Mirage Gate is live in hand, has a ton of cards in hand, so has a ton of options, but again, I think Azul's best option, if he knows Edwin's list, is to just pass.
But we do see the Mirage Gate. We could be seeing some prizes, Jeremy. No, that's not water energy. Never mind, I take everything back.
Yep.
As we do see a take back there from Azul as well. No, it's going to be the Psychic Energy onto the Mawile. Does still have the little light. Oh, there's a water energy, but going on the Comfey instead. I don't think trapping the Curlia does anything quite yet here. Maybe Azul forcing an attack off, baiting Edwin to, my Mawile is now in the active. You can go ahead and take the knockout if you want to. But nope, it's going to be the pass back to Edwin. A lot of action here at the Pokemon Trading Card Game. The Knoxville Regional Championships, and sometimes the correct action is pass. As we do see potentially a refinement here, counting up the energies in the discard pile. Again, there's clear, easy discard here with the Battle VIP pass in hand.
Yeah, we're going to start by just using these 3 refinements available for Edwin. Finally finds a Gardevoir, so we could see some semblance of an attack. Still missing the EX here.
Yeah, there's a couple of Gardevoirs in hand. 2 Shining Arcana Gardevoirs. Does have the boss's orders as well. Could potentially just go for the knockout on Mawile this turn.
The one problem is I would always want a boss's orders, but you also want to Iono the turn as well, because Azul's hand, it's like 20 cards.
If only there was a way to do both at the same time. But not while you're ahead, especially in the Gardevoir deck. It's going to refine away the Mew. Does finally draw into the Gardevoir EX. It's the pretty version as well.
Yeah, opened up a few Paldean Fates packs. I opened my first one up on that ring toss video.
I saw that, Jeremy. While I was here busy working, you were outside tossing rings.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I'm jealous. All right, as we do see the Shining Arcana here, drawing 2 more cards. A lot of cards drawn. No prizes taken.
Yeah, and with the Iono here, we might even still see the attack, but just able to strip Azul from all those cards in hand, force him to find that counter catcher. There's already 1 in the prize cards, so just 1 in the deck that he's trying to grab.
Definitely. I think this should be the correct line of play. If you're going for the attack, you have to mitigate your opponent's hand, even if it is a disruption to 6 cards, which is still quite a bit. You have to do every little bit. Give yourself the biggest chance of winning this game, as Edwin finally going for the Psychic Embrace, attaching energies to the Shining Arcana Gardevoir. And it's going to be the Brainwave for the knockout on the Comfey. First prize taken here by Edwin.
Yeah, it looks like both of our players woke up from their naps, and 13 minutes into the game, the first attack is being used. And Azul does have a, Colress experiment off the top of the deck. That's going to be pretty good here.
And looks like Azul just opting to use the Pidgeot right away. I would have liked to see maybe the Chorus played draw into
the Forceless. So the thing that he's using the Pidgeot for is to shuffle the deck.
Oh.
Remember, the hand got put to the bottom with Iono. That means the counter catcher was probably in that hand. So you're going to shuffle the deck and give himself the most odds to find this counter catcher off this Chorus experiment.
Since there is another V in hand anyway with the Dragonite. So Force Seal Stone is still live, but it's going to be the concealed cards drawing 2. Chorus Experiment draws 5. Finds a Pidgeot once again. There's the counter catcher.
Wow, and just like that, this is basically going to be game over. It'll be interesting to see if Edwin scoops right away or not, but that's also going to be a big tell for Azul. But you're going to give yourself the most outs for potentially game 2, game 3.
Yes, again, a very interesting way to win in the Pokemon trading card game, just taking it different avenues as it's going to be the Pokestop and the switch card sent to the Lost Zone. All Azul needs to do is use that another switch card in hand and play the counter catcher. And a Flower selecting first. Sending the Mirage Gate to the Lost Zone.
Yeah, don't need those anymore.
Counter catcher here on the Jirachi. And Edwin knows what's coming. Again, there's...
I think he's just going to scoop once he sees the Tempting Trap, maybe, or...
Oh,
no. Okay,
nope.
Yeah.
Yes, Jirachi now in the active. Is there a way to retreat? Yes, there is. It's just one retreat on that Comfey. Tempting Trap and Scoop.
Tempting Trap to the Scoop. That's always what you like to see when you're Azul, Garcia, Griego. That means your opponent has no out to it, and that's going to be your game plan going forward here. Already up game 1 in what seems to be an overwhelmingly positive matchup. Edwin attacked for the first time and then was able to just lose the game next turn.
He did everything he did to be able to stay in that game. I mean, starting the Jirachi, probably one of the worst starts he could get, especially since it opened up the Echoing Horn, and I think that was when the writing was just on the wall as soon as the Echoing Horn happened. But as we do see here, the turn.
Yeah, one of the shortest replays.
Edwin finally taking the lead, but taking the lead led to his downfall because of that Pokemon catcher into that Jirachi, and very tempting trap here.
The first time where taking a lead ends up taking an L for Edwin, and Azul just having the hot hands here in game 1, hoping to continue into this game 2. Taking a look at those prize cards. Gardevoir and a Curlia, it's a little bit detrimental, but not too bad. And all right, Mawile is not in the prize cards for Azul. That's what you want to see.
Yes, I think Edwin's biggest chance at winning this game might have been to Mawile and the Hisuian Heavy Ball being prized potentially, but we are starting off here, and Mew is still technically can attack in this matchup, so not necessarily the worst start as Edwin opens up with a Battle VIP pass. What Edwin wants to do, fill up his bench full of purple Pokemon, Psychic Pokemon, and then play the Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah, Edwin's going to have to navigate this game where he just never discards Jirachi, Radiant Greninja, or the Manaphy. Like, you just cannot let those hit the discard or hit play. And as long as you do that, you're going to be able to play a normal game of Gardevoir versus Lost Zone, which usually is good. But it's good when you have Jirachi down to stop that Sableye from actually wrecking havoc with Lost Mine.
That's true, Jeremy. A lot of the times I think that Gardevoir is favored into the Lost Box matchup, but I think the fact that I have Jirachi, I have Manaphy, I have Radiant Greninja, it just spoiled me. And now you're going to have to not depend on those support Pokemon, and all you have really are refinements and mysterious tails to work with, nothing really protecting your bench, as Azul could freely go for something like the Moonlight Shuriken or even Aqua Storm much later in the game. As Edwin, again, gets 3 Ralts into play, has access to that level ball as well, could choose to go for the 4th Ralts too, here as he does play the level ball. That's what he tries to grab. It is going to be that 4th Ralts, just like that. There is no conceivable way now for there to be 2 non-psychic Pokemon in play.
Yeah.
Right now.
And again, for this foreseeable future, as long as Edwin just doesn't refinement away one of those Pokemon, he's going to be doing pretty well here. But now Azul has a completely different game plan in mind. You're going to want to just do the normal Lost Zone thing where you flower selecting a couple times, Colossus Experiment, get that Cramorant knockout. Then the next turn, Mirage Gate to Radiant Greninja. There's not going to be a Manaphy in play, so Radiant Greninja is going to get 2 prizes. And then from there, it's going to be pretty easy to clean things up with Sableye.
It's going to be very interesting to see Azul really shift gears here in his plays, as he does open up the Battle VIP Pass, does open up the Sableye, not the most ideal starter, not the worst though. We do have a couple of switch options. Azul here again, just going for the deck check. Again, it's probably one of the most important. Lost Box is one of the most important decks to deck check, just because you're really depending on your box, your tools, your counters that you have in the deck, as well as the different counts of energy. It's one of those cases where you don't want to be left using Mirage Gate suboptimally and realizing, oh wait, I prized all my lightning or 2 psychic energies or whatnot. As we do see Azul does open up, does get the Radiant Greninja in play, and the Comfey. Again, Radiant Greninja, great attacker, great support Pokemon. Let's see what else Azul has in store for us.
Yeah, again, just prize checking, making sure he has access to the cards he needs. Now you're going to want to know how many water energy in the deck. 2 are going to be prized, so you're going to have to prioritize those a little bit more for that Moonlight Shuriken potentially on the following turn. And starting the Sableye is a little bit awkward here. You'd love to start that Comfey, just start flower selecting, but I think it'll be fine as long as Azul has access to a Colossus Experiment in hand.
Yes, and let's see what else he has here. Again, do you start swinging at this point, Jeremy? Did you just take a knockout with a potential Cramorant at this point, or do you still want to have that potential to go for the counter catcher plays? Oh, wait.
Wow, yeah, discarding the only energy in hand for the concealed cards, valuing the 2 cards off the top instead of the 1 from flower selecting, but unfortunately does not find anything else to really do that turn. No Colossus Experiment for Azul. Hand's a little bit awkward, but Edwin's, his main supporter is Iono, so forced to use the worker here for just 3 cards. Missing energies, but finds 2 of them. I don't know if he has access to any Kirlia yet. Hopefully finding an Ultra Ball or something off this Mysterious Tail.
Does find the level ball. Should guarantee at least 1 of those Kirlias. Does play it here. Again, Kirlia, one of the backbone of this deck. The middle stage evolution, putting in the work with the refinement ability. Not only does it draw you cards, it puts important cards in the discard pile, like that Psychic Energy. And gonna need a couple more, though.
Yeah, usually for Stage 2 decks throughout the history of Pokemon TCG, Stage 1s weren't even really played. You're just playing Rare Candy, or they're just played in 1 or 2 ofs. Don't really do much, don't have a good attack, don't have a good effect. Having the ability to just discard any card to draw 2 cards makes Kirlia one of the best Stage 1s we've seen in a while.
And now Artazone being played, able to find a basic Pokemon. It's going to be that Screamtail. And I was wondering, what Pokemon can attack for 2 energies? Mew can, but I think Screamtail is a little bit of a better option. Again, it does damage equal to the amount of damage counters on it. And guess what? Gardevoir puts damage counters and energies. So should be able to take a knockout on the lone Comfey, potentially.
Yeah, this is just a perfect turn 2 for Edwin. Only grabbing that 1 Kirlia, but having that Rare Candy Gardevoir EX means you can get super aggressive here with this Screamtail. Going to be doing 80 damage to the bench, and even getting rid of the Artazone with the Lost Vacuum. This is going to shut Azul down completely with a hand that did not do anything last turn, but does find a basic energy to concealed cards. Oh, Comfey, but you can't play that down because it's just going to get knocked out by Screamtail. Oh, no, Manaphy.
If you have the Manaphy, and what a world we're living in, Jeremy, where the Gardevoir player has more cards in the Lost Zone than the Lost Box player. Azul is just going to pass it back to Edwin, just going for another refinement. Edwin looking good here. Is going to be able to take at least the 2-prize lead. Does have the knockout on the active Sableye at the very least. Going for the Shiny Arcana. Draws into another supporter in that worker. Again, does not want to play the Iono. And
yeah, I don't know about that.
Definitely, definitely. And just going to be the Fog Crystal for the energy. Don't really need to do much else. Probably just play the worker, try and establish the board a little bit more. Ideally, would have loved to see maybe a Boss or just on the Comfey just say, you're never getting cards into the Lost Zone. Because once the Sableye does come down, we're going to be seeing some flowers get selected. And yeah, it's going to be the worker drawing 3 cards. There doesn't have to be a stadium in play to use this supporter, as Rare Candy is... There is a Rare Candy, but no other Gardevoir in hand.
Yeah, no Curlia either. No way to find any other Pokemon. Edwin's going to have to slow down a little bit, but still going up in the prize race here. Screamtail taking the knockout. This is at the 4th Iono found.
And Azul finally has the Comfey in the active. Goes for the flower selecting. Finds a Nest Ball and a Mirage Gate. Does have a second Comfey in hand, but no way to switch to it, again. It's going to be the pass.
At this point, part of me thinks it might just be better to go on to the next game. There's still a little under 26 minutes left to go in this match, but I don't know if Azul's going to be able to survive through the aggression that Edwin's been presenting this game. And wow, Curlia, level ball off the top of the deck. This is going to be dangerous.
Azul's going to have to use Radiant Greninja back to back to back into possibly Kyogre. I think there is still lines possible for Azul, especially if Edwin's never going to bench those support Pokemon like the Manaphy and the Jirachi. It's possible, but with 1 card in the Lost Zone, I'm going to take that back.
You don't think it's going to get to 7 next turn?
I don't think so. I don't think he even plays something like...
No, there's 2 Lost Vacuum.
Oh, there is Lost Vacuum.
Stone.
Okay.
So there's potential, but Azul will just need to draw Colress's Experiment next turn. Find a Pokemon V, find the Forest Seal Stone, maybe another Comfey even. It's definitely going to be a big uphill battle for Azul here in this game too.
Edwin here plays a Collapse Stadium, gets rid of the Manaphy on the bench, playing defensively here. Manaphy wasn't even the worst bench sitter, since it still can technically attack into the Mawile, but playing very defensively in playing the Collapse Stadium in combination with the Super Rod. There's nothing to Echoing Horn on the bench anymore, as Azul promotes a Comfey, draws Colress Experiment for the turn.
Did I call it or what?
Big top deck here. 5 cards going into hand, 2 into the Lost Zone. What do we draw? Not too much. There's an energy. We can keep on going here. We still have the flower selecting to work with.
Yeah, there's the Pidgeot V, so if you find a Forest Seal Stone off of concealed cards, I can grab you a Colress's Experiment next turn, potentially.
I'm curious what Azul is going to have to keep. Does have the Kyogre prize, and I'm sure that's something you might be thinking about using in this matchup, but by sending the Hisuian Heavy Ball, it's going to have to draw into it naturally. Does opt to keep the Psychic Energy for the concealed cards, draws 2 more. Lost Vacuum and a Stadium. No, that's a Nest Ball. Lost Vacuum. I got a little ahead of myself, but there's still hope here with the Comfey. 3 cards out in the Lost Zone. And this is, how many Comfey does he have left in the deck? I think there's only 1 more, potentially.
There might be 1 left. Looking at this flower selecting, that's going to be an easy battle via P-Pass to Lost Zone. But again, no real way to capitalize on this. No Cramorant available to him. Oh, well,
he has Nest Ball.
There's a Nest Ball, but there's only Escape Rope in the hand.
Ooh, I think any damage is good, essentially, even if you're attacking. If you're going to attack, you just have to attack this turn. Attack with the Cramorant, even if you're not taking a knockout. You're doing damage, potentially on the Gardevoir EX, maybe set it up for an Aqua Storm turn, but we'll have to see. Nest Ball here being played. What is the grab? Could go for another Comfey. Could keep on digging.
It has to be that Cramorant. Azul needs to start applying some pressure here, and even if he uses the energy to retreat the Comfey in the active, take the knockout on Screamtail, or plays the Escape Rope to put damage on the Gardevoir or Gardevoir EX, I think it's going to be fine either way.
What is the line now for Azul? He is only going to be able to take 1 prize this turn. Edwin is down to 3. It's going to take Edwin 3 turns to win this game. It still takes Azul, even most ideal situation, 4 turns, including this one, as Escape Rope is being played. Going to promote.
Wow, all right. Getting rid of the Curlia.
A little bit better,
feeding
actually.
It to that Spit Innocently from the Cramorant, so Azul's going to be able to take a prize card here.
There it is, Spit Innocently, as long as there's 4 cards in the Lost Zone. This attack is free. And that Curlia goes down. Azul takes his first prize card. Back now to Edwin. What can he put together? Looks like it is eyeing out the Shining Arcana Gardevoir looks like just going to opt for the Scream Tail while he has it. Has a pretty sizable hand. Can play the Iono if they choose to. Azul was able to really stabilize thanks to that Chorus Experiment. Just going to attach for turn. That Shiny Arcana is in perfect health.
And with this third energy attachment on the Scream Tail, it's going to be enough damage to be able to take a knockout on this Cramorant. And that way you can just keep going with Roaring Scream, save that Gardevoir on the bench with its full HP, keep it out of range of a Sableye.
As Iono is being played now, typically it seems odd. You know, Edwin has less prize cards than Azul, but that is thanks to something like the Gardevoir. You do stabilize a little bit as well as disrupt Azul as much as possible. And I believe that was the Shining Arcana attachment onto the Ralts, and it's just going to be the Scream Tail attack, knocking out the Cramorant. Edwin goes down to 2. Azul promotes a Comfey, does have Chorus Experiment in hand, and the Stadium. We could see some stuff happen here.
This is going to be the big turn for Azul. Has double Mirage Gate in hand, so as long as Azul can get to 7, which with the Chorus Experiment and the Flower Selecting, he's going to be able to do so. You can Mirage Gate to that Radiant Greninja and Moonlight Shuriken, the Scream Tail, and the Ralts, leaving just 2 Gardevoir in play for Edwin, and he really can't bench anything else.
But isn't 2 Gardevoir enough here? Even if Azul does go for the Moonlight Shuriken, Gardevoir EX is an attacker, Gardevoir is an attacker. You think if Edwin had one more prize, maybe Azul can close this out, take out all the attackers in play, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what Azul has in store for us, as now 6 cards in the Lost Zone, plus the Nest Ball. What else have they got? What other tricks do they have up their sleeve? It's going to be the Mawile coming into play. Interesting. What can get trapped here, Jeremy?
You can do the Ralts, maybe. It's not even really trapped. You just teleportation burst out of it, but it would buy Azul a turn, which might be enough, but I think it's just a desperation play at this moment.
All right, goes for the Flower Selecting here. 7 cards now into the Lost Zone. Again, Edwin's down to 2, does go for the Mirage Gate. Getting that Water Energy and a Lightning Energy. Again, has to be 2 different energy types to get the attachment. Looks like it is gonna be the Mawile powered up, choosing to keep the Water Energy in the Mawile, interestingly enough.
I guess you can Tempting Trap the Gardevoir EX, maybe?
Is there any energy in the discard pile?
Yeah, that's going to be the question, right? There's 7 in play already. And if Edwin hadn't really planned that ahead, no energy in the discard. This Gardevoir might be sticking around for a little bit.
Has Azul found a way here?
At least a couple more turns, and that's better than nothing.
So there is 7 energy currently in play. We do know for a fact that Edwin plays 10, so he still has access to at least 3 in the deck, if assuming none are prize. If Edwin's last 2 prizes are Psychic Energy, technically Azul wins this game. Because
and it looks like there's not Super Odd Curlia last 2 prizes. Edwin has an energy in hand along with that Reversal Energy. So Reversal Energy is another card where you can still attach it to the Gardevoir EX, but it's not going to provide a Psychic Energy.
So here, again, Edwin just thinning out the deck, but more importantly, I think thinning out the deck in a safe way. Again, just has to draw into those energies. You can't even refine the Psychic Energy. There's no Refinement Curlia in play at the moment. You could always just attach the Reversal, take your time, opts to evolve into the Mirage Step Curlia. Just attaches that Reversal Energy and passes.
Well, this is what Azul needed. Just time to try and figure out his game plan for the rest of this game. Edwin down to just 2 prize cards to Azul's 5. That means Azul's countercatchers are always going to be live for right now.
As Azul goes for another Chorus Experiment. Great play again with that Mawile. Buying that extra turn means this is an extra Chorus Experiment played. Technically able to get to 9 in the Lost Zone. Sends a Chorus Experiment. What is the game plan here? They could go for Moonlight Shuriken at this point. But again, with Edwin only needing 2 knockouts. What is the play? Kyogre isn't even a choice, since we do know that is prized. We have Dragonite.
Yeah, there's the Hisuian Heavy Ball at least, so if Azul does find that, would be able to fetch that
He
Kyogre
sent it
out
to the
of
Lost
prizes.
Zone a little bit earlier.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not in the... Oh, yeah, yeah.
As, again, you think it's just another tempting trap turn.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be tempting trap until Edwin gets that Psychic Energy on there, and potentially even after taking a knockout. You just got to try to play to your outs, no matter how slim they are.
As Dragonite V now played. Again.
Because there is a route where, with Edwin evolving that Kirlia, this could be very dangerous, right? So there's 3 Psychic Energies left in the deck, so I guess technically there's enough energy for Edwin to actually attack with everything on board. 2 Psychic Energies on the active Gardevoir, a Psychic Energy on the Kirlia, and a Reversal Energy on the Kirlia would allow a Shining Arcana Gardevoir to attack if it gets evolved. So able to really attack with everything if he finds everything. Pokestop finds double Super Rod.
It's going to be interesting here. So if Edwin attaches the Psychic Energy to the Gardevoir and Azul opts to counter catcher the Shiny.
Oh, no.
Oh, what could be happening here is just an attack with the Dragonite. And with the energy so spread out, there is a potential for no return KO. And this is big damage. This is 250 damage onto a Gardevoir EX.
Yeah, Dragonite V is something that was super popularized by Azul and his team earlier on in the season, earlier on last year. Just such a great attacker in this Lost Zone box deck. Kind of seen just no play for the past few tournaments. And with players deciding that, yeah, maybe Lost Zone Kyogre is good again, this Dragonite V is finding its way back home.
This is the route to Vic. This is a line. And...
no, it's not a knockout.
It's 250 damage onto the Gardevoir. I believe they would like for it to be a knockout. It does put energy into the discard pile.
Did Azul grab 2 prizes? Are we, oh, the Tempting Trap. It adds 90 damage when you attack the ill-forgotten second effect of Mawile. So able to do 340 damage with that Dragon Gale, and that was such a heads-up play from Azul.
What are these lines? Definitely not something I had planned, not something I looked into here, as that is a knockout into the Gardevoir EX. Edwin has to find another Gardevoir.
Yeah, and I think they're clarifying it now. We never really see that attack. Again, 20 damage on Azul's bench due to that Dragon Gale, but that's fine. We got the big knockout on Gardevoir EX, and looking to kind of close things out here.
Pokestop now being played.
Oh no, discards the Reversal and the Psychic Energy.
Wait. Do we have any more Gardevoirs in the deck? We did have an Ultra Ball. Why?
There's an Ultra Ball in hand.
Because the Pokestop, you use that in a desperation type move, especially in a Gardevoir deck. Are we in a tough situation?
I think there's only the one EX that was just knocked out, so Edwin should have access to another one. Oh, no! They're both in the discard, so Edwin is trying to find a Super Rod to be able to get that Gardevoir EX back in play, and this game is starting to heat up.
That was a very scary Pokestop. Again, so many things could have gone wrong. Could have discarded something like a Manaphy or a Jirachi, and things would be really done then. As 2 Shining Arcana Gardevoirs now in play, looks like the play is going to be hit into the Dragonite and hopefully boss it up for the knockout, because again, Edwin only needs 2 more prizes to win this game. But Azul, Garcia, Griego being able to find a way to come back, as Iono is the play here for Edwin, giving him 2 prize cards to Azul's, giving him 2 cards to Azul's 3. What are the draws? Not too good here for Edwin, but again, does have access to both Shining Arcana.
No, you already used them before the Iono,
Yes.
so just left with those 2 cards. Screamtail is going to do 120 damage to the active, but Azul is in firm control now in this game. You can even maybe counter catcher, if you have it, bring up that Gardevoir with 3 energies, take the knockout, and that means the Screamtail is going to be able to take the knockout. But other than that, I don't know what Edwin has. Well, yeah, you can't attack with Dragonite. Yeah. There's 2 prize cards left.
Azul needs to find a single prize attacker. Ideally, maybe a Sableye. Does find the Chorus Experiment off the concealed cards, which is huge. I also has the switch card to be able to switch out the Dragonite, heal it as well. Has Mirage Gate too. If they have enough to attack with the Greninja, there is 2 water energy and 1 energy. 2 water energy on the Dragonite, 1 water energy in the Lost Zone. So they would have to be exactly 2 in the deck. Does go for the Pokestop. Perfect 3 card. Well, 3 free cards there.
Yeah, so the best case scenario here would be trying to attack with a Sableye this turn. I don't know if he has access to it just yet, but Super Rod plus Chorus Experiment should be able to find some stuff.
If he attacks with the Sableye, he can take a knockout on the Screamtail. Can he set up both Gardevoirs to get knocked out by Raiden Greninja, though? I don't think it's possible. He's going to have to go for like a Kyogre play after the knockout.
10 damage short, I think. Chorus Experiment finds that Force Seal Stone. Pokestop you can throw away if you want.
Very intense here. Sends the Force Seal Stone.
But I don't think there's a way to search for a Pokemon.
There's still a Pokestop. Oh, no, we've already Pokestopped.
I think this might be a turn where you just Moonlight Shuriken potentially. Take the knockout on the Screamtail, set up the KO on a Gardevoir. Maybe you just...
How many Mirage Gates do we have in hand? I know for a fact there's no water energies in hand.
Maybe you just 90-90 both Gardevoir. That leaves him with 50 HP left, but then there's 30 HP left on the Screamtail. That's not going to do it.
I think... Oh, as close as... Azul has brought this back from almost an impossible board state, but now, what are the options? Healing up the Dragonite 30. Just leave it with 90 damage. Still 130, still very, very easily knocked out by one of the Shiny Arcana Gardevoirs. Goes into the Comfey. It's going to be a flower selecting here. Not too many cards left in the deck. Would it have to be a blind Aqua Storm, potentially? Does draw into the Kyogre. The second card better be bad, as it is going to be the counter catcher. A blind Aqua Storm.
Well, there's the Recycler in hand, I believe.
Yeah. If you put 5 cards, all you need to do is hit 3, knock out both Gardevoirs.
I think Azul would need to switch card into the Dragonite and then retreat manually into the Kyogre just to get those energies in the discard so you can Recycler back into the deck.
Does have access to Forest Seal Stone still.
Yeah, still has not used that. That's pretty great.
So there is a combination of cards.
I mean, you only need 3 energies off the Aqua Storm, right?
Yes. If you can get your deck down to 6 cards just to make sure you don't lose Aqua Storm.
We're going to see the switch card back to that Dragonite. Retreat, the big 3 retreat cost, getting those energies in the discard. We're going to see an Aqua Storm here, Rancho.
Oh, and it's a very, very interesting Aqua Storm as Super Rod's going to be played, shuffling in 3 energy, I believe, and Mirage Gate.
Ooh, there's energy in the deck, too. That's good.
All right.
So I think with a Recycler, it should almost be guaranteed.
Mirage Gate, 2 attachments there onto the Kyogre. Can use the Forest Seal Stone to get that Psychic energy, the water energy to attach for turn, or just have a second Mirage Gate.
I think with only 3 energy in the discard, this is going to be a little bit rough. So you Forest Seal Stone, go ahead and grab that water. Or just Mirage Gate, and then Energy Recycler, the 3 back. That's 6 cards in the deck. I think that might be able to do it, but then again, how do you take the last knockout?
Do we still have Cramorant?
Somewhere.
That could still be a possibility. Do we still have Rod?
Yeah, let's look through the deck. Echoing Horn, Water, Super Rod. Yeah, you need to take the water, though, and just hope that you don't discard the Super Rod. Oh, this is so scary.
You have to take the water to be able to attack. You have to make sure you don't discard the Super Rod so you have an attacker left in the deck, because Screamtail does have enough damage on it to knock out the Kyogre, I believe. And
okay, so maybe take the Super Rod with the Forest Seal Stone. You can put back some Pokemon. You can Energy Recycler the 3 energy back into the deck. Mirage Gate, the 1 water out to the Kyogre in the active spot. I think that's going to leave Azul with enough cards here. But then you just can't discard the Pokemon like the Cramorant.
There's no way, there's no Ultra Ball or anything in hand. A Nest Ball won't work here.
Just putting back in a Sableye and a Cramorant with this Super Rod, it seems like. It's going to be 5 cards, then minus the 1 from the Mirage Gate, 4 cards, 3 cards from the Super Rod. That's 7 cards. I think Azul might be able to pull it together here and then just hope that this Sableye or Cramorant stick around off of this discard 5.
What a very interesting game, Jeremy. From the tempting trap, dealing the extra damage, to an Aqua Storm not finishing out the game. Sometimes you really do have to go out of your comfort zone, not use your flow chart. Counting the energies in the deck, there's 4 energy in the deck.
Yeah, there are 4 energy in the deck. You need to hit 3 of them, and if you hit 3 of them, you can't discard Sableye, Psychic, or a Cramorant. This is sweaty, Wancho.
I'm not even doing the math on this one, Jeremy. We're just gonna Aqua Storm and pray. And
there's the Judge Shuffle.
Here we go. Azul, declare the attack. No, we still have cards to play.
Yeah, use the Forest Seal Stone. You can go ahead and play this Lost Vacuum, get rid of it. That way, you still have 2 cards in the hand.
Aqua Storm, discarding Cramorant.
Psychic,
Sableye! And the Sableye!
Didn't even hit the 3 energy!
Enough energy. 100 damage to both Gardevoir.
This is heartbreaking for fans of Azul GG, but Edwin is looking to close things out now. Still needs to take a knockout on that Dragonite. Drawing a boss's orders would do it.
Does get the Greninja. Could dig deeper if they could choose to, but things are scary. Does have 1 more Arcana.
Big 2 cards for Edwin here. Top 8
Counter
on the
catcher?
line. Counter Catcher's not going to do it.
Again, right now, does still have knockout on Kyogre regardless, but does give Azul an opening benches.
I would love to see the Fog Crystal thin out maybe a little bit before this concealed cards. But again, it depends where Iono put the boss's orders, if it's just on top of the cards put under the bottom of the deck, or if it's on the bottom of the deck.
What is the play? It's going to be concealed cards here, discarding the
Last
Psychic
2
energy.
Cards. Boss's orders will win the game.
There it is!
There it is! Boss's orders off the top of the deck. And with 90 damage on that Dragonite V, a Gardevoir with the 3 energy will be able to take the knockout and punch Edwin Arrollo into top 8.
What an intense match. There it is.
Not even in top 8. This is game 3.
This is game 3.
I got ahead of myself. Now there's 3 minutes left to go. I don't know what's going to happen. These players are going to tie out of top 8 now.
That's 1-1. This is not how I expected this match to turn out, Jeremy. But
it's been the full 50 minutes essentially, and there's been so many swings. I think this is a playground.
Either way, if both these players don't make it in the top 8, they played their hearts out. That's one of the most interesting games of Pokemon I've ever seen in my life. Just Azul seeing these lines, a normal player just would not have even considered. And again, but Edwin Arroyo playing it correctly, benching once he knew what to play around, gets the attack off with the Screamtail. This Screamtail did work. This was down the entire
it was phenomenal.
match.
It was turn 2, just going at Azul's bench with Roaring Scream, and then just knockout after knockout on the active Pokemon, thanks to that Manaphy from Azul. But this was the big turning point of the game, attempting a trap on the Gardevoir EX, trying to just trap it active, but utilizing the the extra 90 damage for your Dragon Gale here, taking the big one-hit KO, and then Azul playing and sequencing out everything to try to hit this Aqua Storm, take the knockout on both of the Gardevoirs, but hits both of the Pokemon he shuffled back with Super Rod. And now we have a Game 3 here with just under 2 minutes to go.
I think all you can pray for is get a Turbo out, something like a Dragonite, and take a knockout on a lone Rod. Oh no, sorry, you can always cram knockout. I always forget about the cram ran. That's a little bit easier as Azul does open up the double battle VIP pass. And yeah, it's just going to be double battle VIP pass, getting both the Comphase retreat into the Pidgeot. And yeah, it's going to be Flower selecting here, sending the Cramorant to the Lost Zone. Does get the Forest Seal Stone, so it has access to pretty much anything they want in the deck. But looking at Edwin's hand, does have the Battle VIP pass, so yeah, Battle VIP pass should guarantee at least a couple of Pokemon. Nest Ball now being played for Azul, gonna find themselves the Dragonite as well here.
Yeah, this is a much better start for Azul that we've seen these 3 games so far. Having that Forest Seal Stone, go ahead and grab a Battle VIP Pass or that Hisuian Heavy Ball, finding a Pokemon from the prize cards here, and gonna set up potentially a good turn 2. But as long as Edwin's able to get down some Pokemon, this is gonna most likely end up in a tie, depending maybe, yeah, not starting something like the Manaphy or the Radiant Greninja means you can't lose to a Mawile. That would be maybe the one gentleman's agreement that we see. This has been such a weird game, and I think it was just that last turn. Azul kind of overthought it maybe, but just unfortunately had to discard 3 non-energies out of, what, the 4 in the deck? 5 in the deck?
Yeah, definitely. Some would think maybe we should have just loaded it with energy, just take out both those Pokemon and just hope. But as we do see here, what else has he got to play? Does have the Lost Vacuum. And this is a way to turbo out more cards into the Lost Zone. Count now is 3.
Yeah, I'm still just thinking back to that last game, that last turn. Kyogre has 130 HP. Screamtail was only doing 120. So
right.
If you don't put back the Sableye, just put back the Cramorant, and then take the knockout on both Gardevoirs, guaranteed, because now you have 6 cards in your deck. 4 of them are energy. You're going to be getting there. And then you keep the energy and just surf for the knockout with the Kyogre.
That's true. If Azul maybe just put in all energies instead of...
Well, he put all the energies that he had back in the deck, but he just put that extra Pokemon. It was the extra non-energy card that he discarded.
That's true. So if he technically would have gotten the game there, since Screamtail only does 120.
Yeah, and the Manaphy on the bench meant you can't attack the bench. Just 120 on the Kyogre, and then you just attach the last energy in your deck and surf.
That indeed would have been game. That is a thinker.
With this Battle VIP Pass, this is going to essentially seal up the game as a tie, depending on both of the players' agreement. But with time being called, I get confirmation, but I think Edwin is turn 0.
You go Battle VIP Pass, find the Manaphy.
Give Azul the out.
As we do see, just 2 Ralts now in play. It's impossible to finish the game out at this point, but we're playing it out here. Does find the Ultra Ball. Just get more Pokemon, maybe. Yeah, there's 4 Ralts now in play, but after such an intense game and just Azul missing out on just 1 extra energy, just 1 singular play might cost him top 8.
It might cost him, most likely will cost him top 8, along with Edwin here, as they're both in game 3 under time. And Azul has the hot hand no more.
Ooh, okay, so what, again, not much else we can do here. We're playing cards, we're playing Pokemon. Goal is just not to lose in the final few seconds of this match. Oh, not even final few seconds, final few turns of this match. And with both players having just this massive bench. Well, What can you do, Jeremy? What can you do?
Enjoy top 16, maybe, for Edwin. Maybe Azul.
It's time
will
to ring
bubble.
toss.
Yeah, maybe Azul's going to bubble into top 32, sitting at 33 match points after this game. But with both players playing it out, we'll have to see how things shape up. Again, the way time works for the Pokemon TCG is once time's called after 50 minutes, active player's turn is turn 0, then there's 3 more turns after that. So if Edwin was turn 0, that means Azul's going to have 2 turns to try to get an overwhelming board state potentially and say, hey, I'm going to probably win this game. And then depending on if they have an agreement or not, we could see a winner. But other than that, it's looking like a tie.
Yeah, I mean, Edwin at 34 points after tying.
Yeah, that's going to be top 16 for sure.
Yes.
And I do got confirmation Azul was turn 0. So that means this is Azul's last turn of the game. Could potentially Colress's Experiment, double Comfey into Mirage Gate, Moonlight Shuriken, take a knockout on 2 Ralts, and say, hey, I had like the best possible turn 2 I could probably have. I don't know what you can do that might be better. We'll have to see.
Then Edwin responds with a Gardevoir EX, Rare Candy, into Zacian, knockout a Dragonite V, and hey, I just took 2 prizes as well. So.
Yeah.
Oh, but I got carried by the emotions of that.
All the emotions, game. I forgot what game it was. So much stuff happened in that second game compared to the first game where it was just a quick tempting trap scoop.
Yeah, and I know, after the tempting trap, I was almost thinking, oh, this match is, what, 90-10 or something. All it takes is Edwin to take a prize and put down 1 Pokemon, 1 non-ideal Pokemon, or if Azul can bait it out with the Echoing Horn, that's just game, but we saw the outs. Azul breaking a little bit and Edwin getting a little bit lucky.
Yeah.
Or Azul, more importantly, Azul getting unlucky. With the discards.
I don't know if it's luck. It might be skill at this point. Mirage Gate is going to be played to charge up that Radiant Greninja. So we are going to see a Moonlight Shuriken here this turn, switch and Water Energy in hand.
And yeah, again, Radiant Greninja, just one of the most powerful cards in the game. Moonlight Shuriken able to take 2 prizes. This is Lost Box here. You know, 7 cards in the Lost Zone, turn 2. Getting 2 extra prizes. I'm sure this is the game Azul wanted to see. But either that or tempting traps, right? And Forest Seal Stone now on that Radiant Greninja. Everything on that Radiant Greninja but the kitchen sink. As we do see the switch. And the Moonlight Shuriken knocking out 2 Ralts.
Yeah, so this is going to have Azul go down to 4 prize cards. And if their agreement is based on prize cards, that means Edwin's going to have to try to find a boss's orders along with that Gardevoir EX and a bunch of Psychic Energy in the discard. I don't know if that's going to be able to do it here.
Ooh, that might be a little bit too tough here to take 2 prizes, that's for sure. Does have the Ultra Ball, Iono. If you Iono, you're not getting the boss's orders, so you're going to have to use a level ball here to get the Refinement Curlia, and you only have 1 of those because the other has to turn into the Gardevoir EX, and you need a ton of energy, and you need the boss's orders. It's probably not a knockout on a 2-prizer this turn, Jeremy.
Yeah, I don't know if Edwin's going to be able to pull it off, but again, it's all in the player's hands at this point. We don't know what they've talked about, what they've set up beforehand, and this is the last turn of the game, of game 3 in our round 15.
Yeah, I mean, first one to take prizes in game 3 seems just too favored to Lost Box,
yeah.
Almost. Again, Zacian V does have the attack Storm Slash, can take a prize, but Azul did take 2 prizes.
With the Psychic Energy in hand, you can discard it with this Refinement, and you're gonna need like 15 cards off these 2 cards.
One of them is Gardevoir EX, but there was the Ultra Ball already in hand. With that, Pokestop for Rare Candy. Nope.
Did get to draw 3 cards, but those 3 cards are not helping at this point in the game.
You can Ultra Ball for the Radiant Greninja. Use the Fog Crystal to draw 1 extra card. But then what?
Super Rod here, gonna put back those Ralts that got knocked out this last turn. You can level ball for one of them back to the bench, but again, if you're not even taking a knockout this turn, which I don't think Edwin has stuff to set up, Azul can just Moonlight Shuriken if there was another turn left, so you can potentially use that as an argument.
That is true. I mean, another second Moonlight Shuriken would definitely technically secure the game going if we had more time, but unfortunately we don't. And all we have now is an Iono. Azul down to 4, Edwin up 6.
Well, I'm going to use this time to update everyone on our players that are potentially locked in for top 8 already. Ryan Antonucci gave the win to Aiden Koos at table 1. Both of them are at 37 match points. That's Gardevoir up against Lost Zone Box. Table 2 was Raymond Long and Tyler Matthews. Both of them ID'd, so they're at 36 points, both guaranteed. That's Gardevoir EX and Iron Valiant EX. And then Kamal Crooks Valdez and Jose Marzan at table 3 took the ID. Both of them Roaring Moon going to 35 match points, hoping that their breakers are going to be good enough. And I think with this natural tie potentially, it might seal up 35 as a guarantee in, but the players are having a debate right now.
Ooh, yes, again, Edwin Arroyo, 34 points. Azul should be at 33. Both not quite enough. A little bit heartbreaking here. As, again, both players just discussing, maybe talking about board save. This is one of those maybe where they're playing the game in their heads. Oh, you were going to do this, and I would have done this.
Another update, table 4, Ian Robb took down Rowan Stavino. That means a Lost Zone Giratina V-Star squeaks its way into top 8, 36 match points.
There you go. Anyone surprised about that? Not me necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. I'm surprised about no Charizard in contention for top 8.
I mean, we did see the big drop of Charizard from one of the most played decks in day 1 to the 3rd most played here in day 2. Yeah.
All right, we'll get confirmation on how this game ended up for everyone. We're gonna assume right now it's gonna be a tie, but we'll let you all know.
Who? Jeremy.
I need a drink of water after that game too. Like I'm telling you what.
I need an Aqua Storm, that's for sure.
Azul needs an Aqua Storm.
A little bit more energy with the Aqua Storm though. But yeah, again.
All right, we got confirmation. Edwin concedes to Azul. Azul's setup was just enough to be able to honor that agreement, but I don't know if Azul's going to have the tiebreakers to actually make it in. Might be sitting at 9th place.
Ooh, we'll have to see. Just that would be heartbreaking news after heartbreaking news, wouldn't it, Jeremy? But again, I think either way, Azul played it absolutely, almost perfectly. Played it well, the best of their capabilities. And again, the Moonlight Shuriken on that last game and being able to secure-ish a game 3. But here, we're going to just take a quick look at, again, just the one knockout that was the doom of that first game, because it just led to a tempting trap of that Jirachi.
Yeah, counter catcher able to be used by Azul after a few turns of just flower selecting and pass, and able to take that game 1 pretty decisively. Now this is the game 2 that is all of the business here. Scream Tail turn 2, taking knockouts on Comfey, on Sableye, and just continuing its wreck. It stayed in play the entire game, and Azul just trying to do what he can. Took a prize with Cramorant thanks to that escape rope, and this was that big turn tempting trap on the Gardevoir EX. You have just forcing those energies, taking the big knockout with the Dragonite, and then this was the Aqua Storm for all Aqua Storms here, but discards that extra Pokemon he put back in with Super Rod, and then Boss's orders after the last draw, Shining Arcana, concealed cards, Boss's orders takes the knockout, forces the game 3, but with just under 3 minutes to go in game 3. Not really much either player can do, but Azul has that turn to Mirage Gate to kind of force his position and jockeying for this win after the gentleman's agreement.
Ooh, what an intense game. I honestly cannot think of you know, from the other Lost Box game we played, where it was just essentially only using that mobile almost, to seeing almost every tool Lost Box has use of like, not even every, it was every tool and then some. Sometimes you're using the tempting trap to actually increase your damage output. Yeah, okay. What else? What else can you do with Lost Box, you know?
Yeah, really Azul just doing everything possible, but may have miscounted on that last Aqua Storm turn, and it led to Edwin taking the game too, but it still was fine in Azul's favor anyway, because Edwin ended up conceding to the board state and those prizes, and we just played a few more extra turns, and it'll be interesting if Azul does make top 8 or not, but it's not looking likely.
Ooh, all right. Again, that would be heartbreaking indeed if you're stuck at 9th in a big tournament like this. I mean, it's Azul. I'm sure there'll be other tournaments. There'll be other championships. We're just gonna have to stick with the one picture for now, potentially. But yeah, we'll have to see again. But again, great plays. I was just at the edge of my seat with that Aqua Storm. That's why I play the Pokemon trading card game. For moments like those, for finding out the outs, finding what